And we are here with Robert Cort, who works at the NASA New Mexico
White Sands Test Facility.
White Sands Test Facility.
There you go.
Thank you very much. How is it that you got started working there?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story. I went to school at New Mexico State University here in Las Cruces, and was actually working at the university swimming pool as a lifeguard. And a gentleman that came and swam every day worked out at WISTIF. And so it came time to graduate. He asked if I had a resume to take out there, and he still bugs me to this day about getting myself a job out there. And I still hold it against him. So yeah, kind of went to engineering school and you know, just looking for a job after graduation that worked out. So it's good.
Can you tell me what kind of operations you do at the test facility?
Well, we're a component of the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, and we were originally built to support the Apollo program, primarily to test the lunar excursion module ascent and descent stages. And since then, and because of our remote location, we've developed and evolved into essentially a remote hazardous test facility where we can test anything that's hazardous, basically. So we've got a number of core capabilities that we involve ourselves in. One is propulsion testing. The other is micrometeoroid debris, hypervelocity impact testing, composite overwrap pressure vessel testing. We call it aerospace fluids. What it really is anything that's hazardous that's a fluid. We do testing there. And I'm missing one. Now I can't remember. Oh, oxygen systems testing.
Like vacuum testing?
Yes, a lot of vacuum testing. The ECLS systems, the systems that provide the atmosphere for humans to breathe in space, rely on oxygen, as do some propulsion systems. And those are, the materials are more flammable in highly concentrated oxygen than in the air that we're used to breathing. And so we test and evaluate materials for compatibility with oxygen.
So at this time, what projects are you doing testing for? Are you doing any work for the Orion multi-purpose crew vehicle?
We do have some work for the multi-purpose crew vehicle. Of course, we have ongoing work for the International Space Station. We're involved in decommissioning some long-standing test capabilities that we had for the Space Shuttle. One of the big ones there is that we operated the White Sands Space Harbor alternate landing facility, and that's being decommissioned right now. We're doing a fair amount of work for some of our defense partners, the Missile Defense Agency, and also for the U.S. Air Force. And then we have some work with some of the new up-and-coming commercial providers, and also for the FAA, as the FAA tries to figure out how can we safely fly passengers within our airspace that the FAA controls.
Have you always been at the test facility in your career, or have you ever worked at any of the other NASA facilities? I
spent a year at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, and then I spent a year working for the NASA Engineering Safety Center at Langley, Virginia. But otherwise, I've been here at the White Sands my whole career. It's a good place to be.
So, Robert, what would you say would be the highlight of your career at White Sands?
Well, that's tough. I was fortunate to work on a project that had to spend a fair amount of time in Hawaii, which was personally gratifying, but maybe not from a career perspective. Perhaps we tested the propulsion module on the Cassini spacecraft, which is currently in orbit around Saturn, taking fabulous photos and vastly increasing the scientific knowledge of Saturn and the Saturn system. And that was very professionally gratifying, especially since the propulsion system actually had some technical problems that we we discovered during testing, and we were able to solve those problems so that the mission could be successful. Wow. Professionally gratifying.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I guess the only thing I would add is that I'm very excited to see the direction that we're headed in terms of commercial space, and anxious to see how all that folds out and where we end up going, and how we can make access to space affordable for people so that we, NASA, can be freed up in order to send people further beyond low Earth orbit, like onto Mars or to the Moon or wherever we decide to go.
When it does become affordable, would you personally be interested in going into space?
I would love to, yep. Yeah, I would jump at that opportunity.